So anyway, Arthur, let me cut to the chase, as they say. Arthur, at one time in 1965, was at that very special place in South Carolina called Parris Island.
Yes, that's correct.
Arthur, what do you remember from boot camp? Do you remember your first day there? The first time when you
Well,
arrived?
let me give you just a very brief synopsis of what led up to that.
Sure.
I was working at the New York World's Fair as a contact man for Pontiac Motor Division, part of General Motors Futurama exhibit.
Uh-huh.
And that was a 6-month job, and for which there was training in Pontiac, Michigan, and all that. And there were 10 of us. And as the World's Fair was winding down, I enrolled. I registered with a. Hold on for a second. Hold on.
Sure.
Hello. I'm sorry about that. There's interference. As the World's Fair was winding down, I registered with the Marine Corps Reserves in Long Island, and so the time came to go by bus from Long Island to South Carolina, and so we all met in a specific point there in Long Island, and took the bus, and it went all the way down to South Carolina. And my first experience with the Marines was when the drill instructor came in and he started shouting orders, and I practically hit the roof of the bus with my head. I mean, that's how much of an impact that made on us, that was a very, very interesting first 24 hours, and we were kept on our feet all the time. We went from one station to the next, getting our uniform, taking a battery of tests, and so on and so forth, and we had no sleep for, I don't know, about 2 days. It was amazing.
Wow.
We got a bunk. So we were told what to do, and we actually, the drill instructors, it was really shock treatment. I mean, it was a shock treatment to most of us. As one recruit told me later, he said, those of us who had football, who played football in high school, this is a lot easier to take. And I can understand that, because there's a lot of barking, a lot of barking by drill instructors, and garbage cans flying in the air when we had to get up in the morning. A lot of words thrown at us, and we were really kept on edge. And so my memories are, trying to keep it all together and saying yes sir, no sir, and really being sharp and not doing anything out of line. Since if you did, you'd be actually chewed out in front of everybody, and it was a very impressive and interesting experience, to say the least.
Hey,
more difficult for me because I was a college graduate. Most of the young recruits there, they were like 18, 19, 20 years old.
How old were you?
Yeah. I was, I was 21.
21. So Arthur.
No, 21. Wait, no, I was 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Arthur, you were one of the old men.
Yeah, I was one of the old men, I guess.
Hey, Arthur, so do you remember the bus ride?
Do I what?
Do you remember the bus trip from Long Island to?
Not really. I mean, it was that's kind of hazy. Hazy. It was. I can't really remember that well. I mean,
did you stand?
I was amazed at the difference. There were so many different kinds of people on that bus. I mean, one of them, he was a Wall Street investment banker from a prominent family in New Jersey, and I couldn't believe he was going there. I mean, this was his way to avoid the draft, and I have to admit that the draft was picking people right and left to go to Vietnam. And I thought, well, I'm not ready to go to Vietnam right now. I'm just going to go with the reserves, and that's what a lot of us did. But we were always ready to go to Vietnam. I mean, from one moment to the next, the Marines could have been activated and sent over there. But as long as I was in the Corps and the Marine Corps Reserves, it was not.
Right. So Arthur, so did you stand on yellow footprints?
Did I do what?
Did you stand on the famous yellow footprints at Parris Island?
I can't even remember that, Bill. I'm sorry. I mean,
That's okay.
we're talking about a long time ago. This is before a lot of people were born.
Yeah, sure. No, because the thing is that what you said about being up for 2 days, that's what Nicholas went through. He was up for 2 days, and so it's one of those amazing things. So anyway, the drill instructors, how many did you have? Very many?
I had 3. Sergeant Cottrell. Sergeant Cottrell was the main one, and then there was I forget. I can get their names. I have a picture, a PI picture.
Oh, that's okay.
The interesting thing is that they assigned me to platoon 3006, and of course I come from 3601 Durango Street, and I was born on March 6th, 36. So 36 comes out a lot.
Wow.
Donald Trump won with 306 electoral votes. I try to remind him of that.
Arthur, are you trying to tell us that you have a future politically?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Are you trying to tell us that you have a future politically?
No, I wasn't thinking about a political future. I was going to go back and work with General Motors. I had a job with Pontiac Motor Division in Pontiac, Michigan.
Great.
And
so
I have to, yeah.
I was going to say, before we get to the job in Pontiac, Michigan, which is for another time. So then, tell us about the most traumatic things in Parris Island.